Them Wolverines are back in action against Eastern Michigan on Saturday. You just squaring up? Is that what's happening?
Yeah, sorry for everyone listening on podcast. I did see that comment that someone put that we need to stop making so many noises because it hurts their ears when they're listening. So sorry about that.
Somebody said that?
Yeah, someone was like, "Can you stop doing that thing?" Because it was like, I guess like when you listen to it on headphones or something, it's just like right in your ear.
Do we make a lot of noises?
We were doing some episode where we were like, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah,
doing
yeah. I don't know if we. Yeah, I don't think we
that.
make a lot of noises. Okay, Michigan. Yeah, okay. Sure. A basketball game, sure. Okay,
Oh,
yeah.
sure.
Sign me up. So they've had a whole week off. At the time we're recording this, Juwan Howard, nobody knows what's going on. Nobody has released any statement. Michigan's investigating it. Nobody's talking. There's going to be pregame media at some point. I would be shocked if Juwan Howard does any of it. You know why I would be shocked if Juwan Howard speaks to the media cart? Because Juwan Howard hasn't spoken to the media since 270 days ago after Vanderbilt beat Michigan in the NIT. That's the last time Jawan got in front of a camera. This coward refuses to sit in front of a microphone and explain all of his incidents that he is repeatedly having while he's not even the head coach of this program. Just had to get that off my chest for a moment. But I'm sure Phil Martelli or Howard Isley or Sadi Washington or God knows, maybe John Sanderson will show up in front of a microphone and speak to how everything's fine with this team. Michigan comes back home against an Eastern Michigan team that's horrible. Let's talk about the basketball side of this one. Michigan already has a bad non-conference loss at home already. They lost to Long Beach State. Long Beach State's significantly better than Eastern Michigan, but could this happen? Could Michigan blow this one?
I don't think there's any world where they blow this one. Eastern Michigan's a really bad basketball team. Like I think Long Beach State would beat Eastern Michigan by 20 points.
I think so too. I think Long Beach State's actually pretty good, which I tried to tell you a month ago, and you kind of shrugged off. And then they beat USC a day ago. But
Yeah,
I
bad losses as well that you seem to not bring up.
yeah, I mean San Diego State, not horrible.
Yeah, Northern Illinois,
I didn't play Northern Illinois. Northern Illinois is actually good, by the way.
Southern Illinois,
Got a neutral win over Iona. I mean,
good neutral.
all right. Here's why I'm terrified of this game. I don't care who they're playing. They have to play a basketball game right now, and I think everybody hates each other. That's my read on this. Like,
No, hold on. This is where I want to push back. Do the players hate each other?
no, nope.
That means something.
So you think like the players are galvanized and are going to come together the way they did in Iowa City?
Yeah, like it's kind of like let these adults act like children and argue and do all what they're doing. Let's go hoop. Like, and this is like Doug standing on something in the locker room, so he's like taller and everyone's listening to him. Like he's standing on a chair and he's like rallying the troops. Like, hey, F it, let's go hoop. Like, who cares? Who cares about what they got going on?
Yeah,
Let's go hoop.
here's my problem with that. Two things. One, Doug would never speak in a leadership capacity to his team. I love Doug. Love him. He's my second favorite player in the last decade at Michigan. I would literally jump in front of a train for him. He doesn't lead. That's just not him. Which if like I will hold him accountable for that later in his career if he's still at Michigan. Like that's a thing. But like for now, not necessarily his job to lead. I wish he would do it a little more. Doesn't really do that. His job is to go out and get buckets and win games for this team. So he's not standing on a chair like rah rah guys. Here we go. That would be Olivier Comel who has to do that, which I don't really think he's doing. And then two, Doug McDaniel's worst two games of the season have been the last two games. That's a coincidence. All this stuff's happening behind the scenes, and Doug suddenly has fallen off a cliff.
His Memphis game was pretty bad too.
I think his Memphis game was right in line with what we got the last two games. He had a great 10-minute stretch against Iowa that made the numbers not look good. But he had 0 points and 0 assists in an entire half against Iowa.
Yeah,
I'd never seen Doug do that.
Yeah. That's wild.
So I'm convinced like if there's one guy who is being affected by this whole situation, I think it's fair to speculate it's Doug. Like I don't get the sense that Doug is like on his A game mentally or physically right now, which he had been for the entire first month of the season. So that's me speculating. I don't know, but I'm worried about what's going to happen. Last year, Michigan played Eastern Michigan. Last year's team is obviously a lot different than this year's team. But I mean, man, that was the first sign of problems to come for Michigan last year was they were in a dogfight with Amani Bates. Michigan ends up winning the game against Amani last year, just barely. But I don't know, man. KenPom has this as a 20-point spread. I can't run and bet plus 20 fast enough.
I mean, Eastern Michigan is just so bad, though.
Michigan's defense is already so bad. I have no idea what the coaching staff looks like in this game. Like I just don't know, man. I don't.
Is this game at Chrysler?
It's at Chrysler, yeah.
I mean, if you can't beat Eastern Michigan at home by 20, like that's. I mean, I really don't even care what's going on. I don't care if there's someone in the stands fornicating. Like, I feel like you got to be able to focus and win that basketball game.
I mean, I think they're going to win the game. I'm circling this as one of the best potential spots to predict an underdog to cover this weekend. That's all I would say. Is there anything Michigan could show you in this game that makes you think like, okay, everything's fine, they're good to go?
If they do blow them out, I'd be willing to actually have the conversation that this team is a team that can mentally refocus themselves and play for each other. And, maybe it doesn't have to be like a leadership thing, like a person stepping up and leading, but just like an unspoken, let's go hoop type thing.
Okay.
And who knows what that does for the rest of the season? But I think for the time being, that tells us something about this Michigan team.
Who do you think the best leader in the Michigan locker room is?
Terrence Williams, maybe?
That was my answer. Does that make you feel warm and fuzzy?
Nah.
Yeah, me either. But that was my answer. We didn't do a ton of this because we spent the whole Iowa recap. It wasn't even an Iowa recap. It was a Juwan rumors discussion. But I do want to look backwards quickly at a couple things from last game that I'm curious if we'll keep translating going forward. Terrace Reed had his best game of the season. 19 points, 6 rebounds, 3 blocks. For the first time in his Michigan career, he looked like he knew where to be defensively. I don't think that is you can't just write it off and say that was nothing because Iowa's offense is really good. So for Reed to suddenly have a great defensive game against Iowa means something to me as opposed to a different opponent. Do you agree with me there?
I do, but you know me, I'm a pattern guy. I need you to stack 2 to 3 before I buy it.
Okay. Yeah, I would just say I'm more skeptical of the offensive production, not maybe there's a defensive turnaround coming for Terrace quickly. Maybe the offensive stuff was a blip on the radar because Ben Krikke was guarding him.
True. But him being in the right, like you said, him being in the right spots, a step in the right direction.
100%. And then the other thing that we have to legitimately accept at this point, I think, Will Cheddar's really good.
Yeah.
He's really good. Like it's not a joke anymore. It's not a skeptic. Like Will Cheddar is one of the best off the bench forwards in the Big Ten.
Yeah, 100%.
If not the best, right? Like I don't know who a better off the bench forward is right now that I've seen in the conference.
Yeah, I can't think of one off the top of my head. To be honest,
Probably Dane Danger. That's it.
Well, Dane Danger is the best off the bench player in the country. So
right.
That is what it is. But yeah, I mean, before Terrace had the performance he had last game, there was about to be a serious question about whether Cheddar should be starting for this basketball team.
Yeah.
Cheddar it still might be in line if Terrace doesn't continue.
Cheddar is 12 for 17 from 3-point range this season. That's 71%. Cheddar is 22 for 29 from 2-point range this season. That's 76%. That's 14th best in the country from 2-point range. Like this dude, he's been an absolute bucket. Like, I can't. And if you watch him, I don't know how much you've actually seen of it. Like, if you watch him, he's doing it in flashy ways. Like, he's not just like getting easy buckets. He's hitting like catch and shoot contested threes. He's hitting like the dream shake spin around moves. Like, honestly, he looks like a fully realized version of what I thought Jackson Kohler might be. And I never expected that from Cheddar.
Yeah. How tall is Cheddar?
He is 6'9", I believe.
Is he 6'9"? Okay, he looks
Yeah.
taller out
Yeah, yeah, and I mean, definitely. I wish he didn't have some Dickinson in him with the celebrations, but like, I'm buying that he's legitimately really good offensively this year. It's
there.
crazy.
Check another one for Michigan player development.
He had a rebound. My favorite play from him last game. He had a rebound that I was laughing. I texted a couple people, literally making fun of it. He was going coast to coast, like for some reason. Everybody else in the team, if you get a rebound, like you hand it off to Doug. Will Cheddar gets rebounds and just turns and runs, and
Love that.
I can't believe that's happening. He had one where he grabbed it, turned right, and then in transition threaded a one-hand chest pass to Terrace Reed for a dunk in traffic. Like I couldn't believe what I was watching.
Point Cheddar.
Point Cheddar. It's crazy. All right, prediction time. What's the score of this game?
I think Michigan wins this game by like, I think they win in very impressive fashion. I don't know what the final score is, but I think it's a 25-point plus win.
All right, I think Michigan wins this game by 7. I think it's a tie game with 4 minutes to play. I think we get at least one incident on the sidelines. And by incident, I mean like a Sadi and Phil Martelli rolling their eyes at each other moment again. And then I think in the final 4 minutes, Doug takes over and wins them the game. They win by 7.
Can I get an Eastern Michigan Ken Palm check? You happen to have the tab open?
Eastern Michigan is 306th on Ken Palm.
Come on, man. Single digit game.
They lost 94-55 at Butler. They lost 100-57 at Florida Atlantic.
Yeah, come on, dog. No.
I think Michigan wins by 7.
That's crazy. That's crazy. I'm sorry. It's crazy.
I think Juwan Howard's presence on this program is worth negative 20 points right now.
That's wow. I disagree, but I guess we'll see.
I'd like some resolution. Then I could maybe root for my basketball team again. Good luck, Michigan. Please step down, Juwan.